Hello and welcome to the channel. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these kinds of videos, but I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about handheld gaming and how I'm actually kind of excited about how things are progressing as of late. For the longest time, this was actually my favorite handheld. The PS Vita. Now this system was ahead of its time. Am I recording with audio? Yes, I am. Okay, sorry about that. Had so many features that were pretty awesome. Some of them weren't always utilized, like the touchpad on the back, the touch screen so much. Like Tearaway used the back a fair bit, but was not used so much in other games. But this is a nice compact size. It's great for gaming. It's got two joysticks, which was an upgrade from the PSP. The graphics were, at the time, not too bad. It had a custom chip and all that stuff. It wasn't very powerful, but it didn't really have to be for the games it ran. And you could also connect it to your PS3 and PS4 through remote play. So if you had an internet connection, like say you were at a coffee shop and you had your PS4 or PS3 turned on through internet, you could actually remote play with the Vita, which was kind of nice. So you could sit there and play, let's say, God of War, for example, on the Vita while you're sitting in a coffee shop. You could play a few other games too. You could play almost your entire library as long as it's installed on the system and whatnot. Now, as you probably already know, I do have the Steam Deck. Now this has become my new favorite handheld. And recently I got Forza Horizon 5, which actually runs pretty good on the Steam Deck. It runs at low settings, but even on low settings it's not that bad. It's about on par with the base PS4 in terms of graphics, which is still very much playable. I think I'm playing at about 60 frames a second or something like that. I can't quite remember. I usually have it in the top left corner, which is also another nice thing about the Steam Deck, is you can have all your stats showing on the screen. I just have the first bar over, so it just shows just the frame rate. But yeah, it runs most of my games in 60 frames per second, which is kind of nice. Not so much with like the Switch, which I don't mind, but I still think the Vita is actually better than the Nintendo Switch. And I think the Vita could have performed just as well, could have sold just as many units if Sony had actually kept up with support for it. I think they killed support for it way too quickly. It's part of the problem with the downfall of the Vita, was they killed it so quickly. And then it was just basically third-party developers that were keeping it on life support. I am glad that I managed to buy this one brand new from Best Buy. It was an open item when it was still available in store. I do have two others. Usually when I like a handheld, I usually like to have multiples of the same one. I probably won't do that with the Steam Deck though, because I kind of don't see the point in having two Steam Decks. The only reason I'd get another Steam Deck would be to mod it and resell it or something like that. But yeah, I did kind of mess up on the buttons when I installed the back cover to the L4 and L5 buttons don't really click. These two do, so I might have broken something there by mistake. But I usually don't use the back buttons, R4, 5, or L4 and L5. I don't usually use those for any games. It's nice that they're there, but I don't really use them. I do use the triggers, the bumpers, the joysticks, the mouse pads, or like the track pads. I use pretty much everything else except for these back paddle buttons. I am glad that I got the transparent red. It does look nice. And I have my Deckmate, which I did the unboxing of, which I was expecting them to actually ship it just in the Deckmate box. Kind of like with the Steam Deck. How it's just shipped directly in the box with the case and everything on it. But now it looks like Asus is having their own handheld that they're coming out with. You got the Ion Neo, you've got the Ion Odin, you got the 1X player. You got so many different handhelds, handheld PCs coming out, and it looks like there's a possibility of Sony maybe coming out with their own handheld. And I think it's partly because of how the Switch kind of kept the handheld market going, and then some people started making their own handheld PCs, like the Ion Odin and the Ion Neo. And then Steam has been working on the Steam Deck for the last 10 years, 10, 11 years or something like that is when they started development on it. Yeah, I do love handheld gaming. I'm going to stick with the Steam Deck for probably a long time now. And I think it is probably the most viable option right now, because Steam is able to leverage their store to keep the cost low for their handheld device, because they're able to so just like with Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, they're able to take a loss on the system itself, but then recoup some of the costs through game sales. Like I kind of went a little hog wild over the last couple months, because I knew I was going to get the Steam Deck eventually. But since about... Did I get any games during the winter? I think I even got a couple games during the winter sale. But I've been buying games for the last several months, even before getting the Steam Deck, because I do have a gaming laptop that I do all my video editing on. I still have my PC to build whenever I finally get a chance to do that. I'm either working or sleeping right now. And trying to make content for my channel. But yeah, it's interesting to see where it's gonna go. How Sony will do their new handheld, if the rumors are true that they're actually going to come out with a handheld. I probably will get it. Right now, the PS5 is just too stupid expensive. The PS5 is actually more expensive than the Steam Deck, which is kind of crazy. It's like $800 or $900 Canadian for the God of War bundle, which is stupid. It's like $728 plus tax. So I'd be looking at about $900 for a PS5, and I want the disc version because I can pop in my PS4 games. And honestly, all I would get a PS5 for is to play my PS4 library. I probably wouldn't even bother buying PS5 games. I'd probably transfer my GTA Online account from my PS4 to PS5, maybe. But yeah, um, but if their handheld can support PS5 games and PS4 games, then that would be nice without having to do remote play. I don't know how powerful their system will be. I don't know the specs or anything like that. It may have leaked online. I don't know. Um, I just kind of saw like titles of videos and whatnot and thumbnails that said Sony handheld leaked or something like that. I didn't actually watch the video by Spawnwave yet at the time of this recording. I might go back and watch it. I don't know. I'm only slightly interested. And at first, I also was almost going to pass on the Steam Deck. Because yes, I like handhelds, but it didn't seem like it was something for me. But then I watched Alex's video of him getting the Steam Deck, and it's like, okay. And then he did some other videos on the Steam Deck that kind of got me interested. So yeah, and then I saw, I think it was him or Frit that reacted to Harmon's video on the Steam Deck. Oh man. He might have made a couple of videos on the Steam Deck that I watched during one of Alex's live streams, or a couple of his live streams. And yeah, the Switch is seriously underpowered. In my opinion, the Vita was a better console than the Switch. You had party chat. You could message your friends. You could. Oh, yeah. I've actually been in live parties, on the Vita when my PS4 wasn't quite working right. So then I'd hop on the Vita and I'd chat with one of my friends, and I think it's got built-in microphones. Let me just check here. Now it's got 2 speakers. Oh yeah, it's got a built-in microphone at the bottom here. I'm pretty sure that's a microphone. Now the sound quality wasn't that great, but it was still passable. But yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of new handhelds will come out. I'll say it again, but Sony could have seen just as much success with the Vita as the Switch if they had stuck with it. But yeah, it is what it is. And I think I'm going to end the video here. I think I've rambled long enough and ranted long enough, even though it wasn't that much of a rant, but it was just more of a one-sided discussion. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one.